Welcome to the final word for All That Cricket, fueled by Kookaburra Cricket. After 3 weeks traipsing around the UK, I've had to come all the way to Paris to the Champ de Mars to find Geoff Lemon. Welcome back, Geoff.
Ouais, bienvenue à la mot finale en Paris. Everybody down here very excited about Le Trophée du Champion. You can't hear anything else on the streets of Paris about the speculation who's going to win.
From the Champ de Mars and the Champs-Élysées to the Champions Trophy in a couple of days when it starts and kicks off in London when England take on Bangladesh. But England are actually going in favourites in a tournament on home soil. It doesn't usually augur well when England are on home soil and favourites in international tournaments in any sport, does it?
Yeah, it's been awkward across a few different codes, but at this point, everything seemed to be going well. They played brilliantly against South Africa, a couple of games in a row, big scores that they're racking up, and then the Lord's incident, 6 for 20 in 30 deliveries. It's maybe an aberration, but it's definitely enough to make every England supporter very, very nervous.
Yeah, they continued the pattern of the last 2 years in the first two internationals. At Headingley, they made 330. The skipper made 100. Moeen Ali made a timely 77 not out. Then down to Southampton, it was Mark Wood with the ball, Geoff. Now, he's a player we've been watching very closely the last couple of years as he darts in and out of injury. By far the quickest bowler in the country and managed to get it done with very few runs at his disposal at the end.
Well, absolutely ridiculous, really, that Miller and Morris, two guys who can clear the boundary at will pretty much down the order, needed 7 off the last over and couldn't get them. So some strength in the bowling department too from England. They're not just about scoring 350 every time.
Although they do have Ben Stokes coming off an IPL campaign to die for. And I might add, Mark Wood, none for 47 in that display. He's probably man of the match. He wasn't given man of the match, that went to Stokes. Not really, you would say that. That shows you a bit about how the game's changed over the years in the 50 over format. And then we talk about Australia. Now, Australia are playing England in the group stages in the third game. They're coming in as world champions, Geoff. Their form isn't too bad, and I think that they have every right to still think they're the team to beat.
Well, they are the world champs. They don't necessarily have the same record in this tournament. They've won it twice, so both on the back of Shane Robert Watson. So, if Watto's around, there's no champion trophies wins for anybody. But they've got this incredible bowling attack, Australia, that everybody's been talking about with, you put Cummins, Pattinson, Stark together, and then Hazelwood for balance. There's so much speed, there's so much ferocity. Will they play them all? Will they go for the steadier hand of John Hastings? Don't know. But I don't think selectors could resist putting that bowling attack together all at once and seeing what they can do.
Yeah, James Pattinson got a go in the warm-up game they played at the Oval last week, chasing down 318, but he went for 1 for 80, whereas it was Cummins rather, 1 for 47, which looks far more impressive. With the bat, Aaron Finch had plenty to play for. The captain himself said those warm-up games would dictate who would partner David Warner at the top of the list, and Finch made 137, absolutely smashed them, and Travis Head, 85 not out, coming in at number 6. It feels like a fairly balanced lineup, if not for the fact that Maxwell is probably the one guy who might miss out for Chris Lynn.
Yeah, there's that sort of uncertainty about who they're going to play there, but then Chris Lynn, he's only ever played one match. He's missed out with injury. We've seen what he can do in the Big Bash, but does that mean that he's able to come in a tournament like this? We've seen Glenn Maxwell be pivotal in winning Australia a World Cup in 2015. He's got the big tournament experience, so you'd think that would be enough to get him over the line where Lynn hasn't had the opportunity to do much recently to really impress.
Speaking of warm-up games, there was an absolute cracker at Edgbaston over the weekend between Bangladesh and Pakistan. Now, to paint the picture, Pakistan were chasing down 341, I think it was, and they needed 100 runs in 7 overs with 2 wickets in hand, and then all hell broke loose. A couple of randoms come on in the game.
Well, if you picked your dream team of, who do I want to come in to get 100 off 7 overs? Fahim Ashraf and Hassan Ali. Probably not towards the top of anybody's list, but absolutely bunted it all over. 60 odd that Ashraf managed to put together off about half as many balls. And they got there with 3 balls to spare, leg in the air, vaulting over the front fence, and don't mind the roses. It was amazing.
Yeah, we should be so lucky if the tournament has a few finishes like that. Bangladesh and New Zealand played a couple of games in Ireland in a tri-series. They took 1 apiece off each other. Taman Iqbal's in some form for Bangladesh at the moment. Speaking of New Zealand, they play Australia in the first game of their campaigns respectively at Edgbaston on Friday. New Zealand aren't really being spoken about as a serious threat, but they were the team playing off in the World Cup final just 2 years ago.
That's right, and if you look at it, I think it's their bookends that are really going to decide how far they go. If Martin Guptill has a big tournament, we've seen how amazing he can be in the white ball format, and Trent Boult down at 11 for his bowling, his ability to get the ball to move around, his ability at the death. So if those guys have a a big tournament and Williamson can carry the sort of standard that he's set, they're definitely in contention.
Yeah, and we saw the last time that Australia were in the UK in 2015, it was the moving ball off green tracks. Now whether that'll be the case, it's hard to tell at this stage, but they'll certainly fancy their chances. As far as Australia-New Zealand contests are concerned, they've played 10 times in the last couple of years. It's not playing each other for many, many years, and only one time the away teams won. So on a neutral venue, they might consider themselves a better chance than they may have otherwise been, but they are relatively inexperienced compared to what they were a couple of years ago, especially without Brendan McCullum. Martin Guptill said on the final word the other day he'd give anything to have his old opening partner Baz with him again, and that really leaves us the sleeping giant in this tournament, Jeff, which I think are India. They did win the Champions Trophy in 2013. They have been very competitive in the last couple of World Cups as well, but no one's really talking about them either.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps it's just that England's flavour of the month. Maybe it's that Kohli had a quiet IPL and a little bit of that aura has dimmed, but his record in one-day cricket is absolutely supreme. He's carving his way up the list of most centuries in the form. I think, what is he, fourth at the moment, about 25, 26 one-day centuries. So the kind of quality at their disposal, it's whether they can put it together in the conditions, but they did it 4 years ago, so there's no reason why they couldn't again.
We've got a trade to catch. Off the Eurostar, up to London, off we go, Jeff. Jeff Lemon, Adam Collins for the final word. All that cricket fueled by Kookaburra Cricket. We'll see you at the Champions Trophy.
Au revoir.